Welcome to Dave Presents. Once again, we're here in the Morgan Hall Kitchens at Temple University. It's a working kitchen, so you might hear some noises, you might see some people walk behind us. Today, I have a very special guest. He's like my boss's boss? I'm not exactly sure. He's the Regional Vice President for Sodexo, Russ Sherman, and he's brought with him his recipe and his stories for buffalo chicken stromboli coming right up. Welcome, Russ Sherman.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
So happy you were able to make it.
Excited to be in the kitchen.
A couple times I've tried to get you to come before, and our schedules didn't meet up right again. What do we have today? Today you brought me some.
Today we're going to get to play with some pizza dough, one of my favorite things to do. And we're going to make some family favorite buffalo chicken stromboli.
Do you have this a lot in the family, or?
We have it Sunday in our house is pizza
Every
and stromboli.
Sunday?
Every Sunday.
I feel like that's like a 1950s thing. You know,
Well,
Meatloaf Monday, Taco Tuesday,
we brought it
Stromboli
into
Sunday.
the new millennium, so that's what we do. It's a nice, easy thing for us to make. My kids are busy on Sunday evenings, so it's something that I can make and make ahead of time and just.
They get to play with it too, right? I mean, it's a fun time.
I get to
you
play
get
with
to
it.
play with
When
it.
they were growing up, when they were littler, I would put them on the counter and we would all make it together.
Uh-huh.
Now they're older and I cheat a little bit. I go out to the store and I buy pizza dough. And I usually get 2 dough balls.
Busy people.
Exactly. And I make whatever kind of pizza we feel like or whatever kind of stromboli we feel like. Strombolis are great because you can use whatever's in the refrigerator,
Right.
left over from the week, and you can make something creative out of it.
Awesome. You know what? I just wanted to take a moment and remember the first time I met you.
Okay? I don't.
All right, so
I'm scared.
of course, and you should be. So he's actually the regional Russ here, the regional vice president for Sodexo, and technically to be like my boss's boss. I don't know how many bosses, but you're important, right? That's why he wears a suit and I don't
I'm
wear a
glad
suit.
you think so.
Well, somebody has to. So anyways, the first time I meet you, you weren't actually in charge of our area. You were in charge of a different region. You were in charge of New England, I guess.
Yep.
Right? And I was doing a class up in Vermont. It was like a culinary symposium type of thing.
Yes.
And we had this wine tasting. We had a dinner, fancy dinner, wine tasting. And so we're all sitting there enjoying the different wines. There's a winery guy there showing us different wines, and we're comparing the, one that tastes more woody or smoky or whatever they're supposed to taste like. I'm not that great at
Normal
wines.
day at work.
Normal day at work, right. And a guy shows up late, one of the cooks, one of the chefs. And you, without missing a beat, you grabbed the spit urn thing in the center, pour the guy a glass, said, we started without you, here you go. Obviously he didn't drink it, but it just goes to show that you're not quite the stuffy guy that people might think when you're wearing the suit, right?
I try not to be.
So I've always known you've had a great sense of humor. So I don't really want you to be the stuffy guy today.
Okay.
I don't want you to be wearing the suit and getting it dirty. So I actually made a special jacket for you. So today you're going to be Baker Rush.
Oh, I'm honored.
Right?
Thank you.
I'm glad somebody's
That's
honored.
awesome.
So if you could just
All right.
trade those out, and then we can get started and you don't mess up your fine Armani.
Wow.
And then we'll head straight into playing with dough.
All right.
You know how to work those? Because it's probably been a while
I
since you've
think so.
been
Yeah.
in a chef jacket. Have you ever been
Mine
in a
don't
chef jacket?
I have.
Oh, okay, good. So
It's been a while. I actually-
you weren't just born a VP.
No, I actually go back into the kitchen one day a year. So I'm lucky. This year I'll be at the University of the Sciences for one day in the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
Yours has much fancier buttons than mine.
they're pretty fancy. Yeah.
This is nice.
And what do you do that one day a year? You make the Rush
Whatever
special.
whatever the team there wants me to do. They
Look at
win
you.
me in a raffle and they do whatever.
So we lost, huh?
Yes.
Didn't even know there was a raffle.
Yeah. Well, next year you have a better chance at winning apparently now.
Uh oh. We don't want to give away too many secrets, huh?
Invite me in, you never know. All right, this is awesome. Thank you.
All right, so we have some dough. How do you make your pizza dough usually?
Well-
We actually make all of our pizza dough here on campus from scratch, both here at Morgan and at Johnson Hardwick. So I happen to have pizza dough, but you may not have pizza dough. Like you would have to make it sometimes.
So
What's your recipe look like?
yeah, so if I'm gonna make it, I kind of do it by feel. I start with obviously flour. I get
Flour.
high gluten flour.
Very
and
important to get high gluten
Very
flour.
important.
I've made this mistake
Baking
before.
tip.
Huge baking tip.
And then I just get the basic packets of yeast and dissolve that in some hot water.
Not hot.
Warm.
Thank you.
101 degrees, I believe.
Somewhere around there.
And then
you want to kill the yeast.
It's hot on my hands.
Ah.
And then
Sensitive VP hands. I gotcha.
Exactly. Exactly. They don't get in the kitchen as much as they used to.
Right.
And then I do a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of sugar. Mix it all together, fold it all together, and then half the fun is kneading it
For a long time.
for a long
Until
time.
you're sore. Which is why you like have kids to do that usually.
So what I would do is I would get it ready, and then when it was ready to come out of the bowl and onto the counter to start kneading, I would kind of line them up, and each of them would take time to knead the dough.
You didn't just give them a KitchenAid or something to mix it
No,
up?
no. It's all about the hand and the feel.
That's good. Old school, right?
Yep. But as I said, now I go to the local pizzeria. I go in. They know me.
Now that you have to do it, you get some dough. I see that. So when the kids are doing it, it's kind of like when you make your kids wash dishes by hand, and then you get a new dishwasher.
It's another VP trick.
I get
delegation. Yep.
All right. So it's pretty basic. Some things to remember is with any kind of bread dough. I just want to point this out real quick. Is that you don't want your salt and your yeast to touch. So when you're mixing any kind of bread, any bread at all, I'll typically put the salt and sugar at the bottom with the water or whatever, put the flour in and put the yeast on top. And the reason I do that is because salt will actually kill the yeast. So the whole purpose of salt is to actually regulate your yeast production at that point. The sugar feeds the yeast and it wants to grow, and the salt keeps it from growing too quickly. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense, and I had heard that before, and I never knew why I poured it in an order. Now I know why.
Now you know why. And also the high gluten, like you had pointed out, is super important. High gluten flour has a much higher protein content, and therefore a stronger gluten, so it'll actually hold together a lot better than an all-purpose flour or a cake flour. Forget about it. You don't even make it. Exactly. So we have our dough, and we're going to make like a stromboli. Do you actually roll it out? Because I didn't bring your rolling pin.
No, I never use a roller. I always half the fun is getting your hands into it and hand stretching it. Kind of. Ooh, it's still a little cold, so it's.
Well, because I did have it in the fridge.
This is going to fight back a little bit. I usually leave it out on the counter for about an hour, and it gets to kind of loosen itself up a little bit. The gluten loosens, and then you just
relax.
Kind of
you relax the dough a little
yes, I like to relax.
He's like a pro.
I like my
Are
dough
you gonna throw
relaxed.
it in the air?
That's half the fun as well, is throwing it
Can't
up
wait
in
to
the
see
air.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
So yeah, you kind of have fun with it.
So you would do this because we're making a stromboli today too. So the roundness isn't as important.
Well, so what I do even with the stromboli, I make it nice and round. With the stromboli, I press out the edges because obviously you don't need the crust like you would on a pizza. You can kind of go around and re-stretch the edges a little bit.
Right. One little trick I found, I'm gonna help you out here a little bit.
Absolutely.
Maybe this will be good for you later too. If you literally grab the edges and just work your way around, it'll take this fat part that's around the edge, because right now you can kind of see the center is a little translucent,
Yep.
and then the outside edge is really thick. But if you actually just kind of walk your fingers around, it'll help stretch that part out so that it'll be a little more even.
Important pizza note: always make sure the dough is even center to edges except for the crust.
Right.
That's the key.
So we've got
All right, awesome.
our dough here. Maybe you want to actually press it out a little bit more rectangular.
I actually start with it. I work with it round and go from there.
My mistake.
Hey,
Everybody does it differently.
I gotta have my own signature, right?
So what do you know about strombolis?
What do I know about strombolis? They're very tasty and they're very versatile.
So I actually did a little research because I'm always looking for
That's
more
why
knowledge.
you're Baker Dave.
So it turns out that stromboli, not from the island just north of Sicily called Stromboli, which you think it would be, but actually was. There's some people arguing about it. The time frame and the area is pretty similar, but there's a guy in Essington, Pennsylvania, in the 1950s that owned a pizzeria and actually created this what he called like a sandwich. So he rolled up his toppings inside of it instead of keeping it flat, and he named it Stromboli not after the island, but after the movie that was out at the time with Ingrid Bergman.
Okay. Are you sure it's not just Philadelphians wanting to take credit for everything?
We do like to take credit for a lot of things. It might be, but if so, why would you take that from us?
I wouldn't try.
Okay. Aren't you from here? Like, I don't understand.
Not originally.
Where are you from?
New York.
Oh, so you're trying to steal back the pizza.
Yes, exactly.
I see. You've got the whole pizza envy thing. You can't even have a stromboli? I mean, you got the pizza thing. You can't have the stromboli here?
We want it all.
Like Ellis Island?
Yes.
and Statue of Liberty.
Statue of
Liberty
Liberty.
Island is really in New Jersey.
Exactly.
I don't want to say that too loudly for those crazy New Yorkers. So anyways, we have our dough. We can set this aside.
All right.
Now we got all these toppings. Like you want to make like a
Today, so one of the things I said earlier is strombolis are really versatile. You can go into your refrigerator and whatever leftovers you have in there, you can kind of mix and match, add a little bit of cheese and a little bit of sauce, and you make it into a stromboli. So one of our favorites is buffalo chicken stromboli.
Okay.
So you can use chicken, and we have basically everything you would go with a buffalo chicken. A little bit of celery. We add some tomato, some onion, and obviously mozzarella cheese.
and some fresh sliced mozzarella cheese.
I noticed you took good care of me on that.
I did, because I know that you didn't just want the crappy,
That's right.
shredded mozzarella cheese.
Absolutely. It's
All the best for you.
It's all
right?
about the ingredients.
So that's important. I mean, it seems silly like that it would make a difference, but it really makes a huge difference the type of cheese you use. It's not something you should gloss over. So we have chicken here, and this is basically just a breaded chicken breast that's been now cut up into cubes for our purposes here. That seem like enough?
That seems perfect. So we're going to take that. We're going to do a little buffalo sauce.
Now, this is already mixed, but have you've made buffalo sauce like for hot wings?
Yeah.
So the trick to that is just butter? Is that how you do it?
I cheat and use the bottled sauce.
Okay, so let's say you didn't have the bottled sauce. What you can do is you can literally take any hot sauce, because I don't want to name brands here, but you can literally take any hot sauce that you wanted, if there's a special hot sauce you like, and you 50-50 it with butter, and the butter helps it to stick to your hot wings.
So, now
But the bottle already has it.
I'm going to try that next Sunday and I will report back.
Okay, well, with the thing, I would go a little bit lighter on the butter if you do it, for
Okay.
this purposes, because the grease will just come flying out, and you don't want that either.
No.
But for regular hot wings, it's great. Okay, so we have our stuff tossed there.
Yep.
How do you lay it out? Is
So-
it something special?
I put it out in layers. Usually the meat first, and put everything else on top, and the cheese on top of that, and then I roll it up, make it into a stromboli shape. Very simple.
What's a stromboli shape? I thought they were just straight.
No, usually half like an arc.
Oh,
That's
really?
what I grew up with. I don't know.
In New York,
Yeah.
and they have to adopt it and put a little twist on it.
Yes.
So where in you wouldn't like New York State, New York City?
Long Island.
Long Island. So that's not really a city. I mean, people don't really admit
Long
city
Island.
people don't want you to think.
Right, yeah, we're kind of out on our own. Yes.
How was your childhood?
Well,
Pizza, obviously.
Pizza was an important part of my childhood. So I got into the business, my love for cooking, through my stepfather, who came out of the pizza business.
Okay.
And
He
so
had a
he's-
shop in Long Island?
He had actually a lot of shops, actually in New Jersey at the time. And he would bring back pizza dough for us to play with. And we would make all different types of pizzas and toppings. And then calzones, strombolis.
Stromboli.
Although he never mentioned the stromboli story. And he would
wouldn't
teach
hide
us.
that. I mean, that's,
I guess he was keeping that from me.
Right.
He wanted to shelter me. And so that was kind of my love for cooking. And he talked a lot about how the ingredients are important and kind of putting your love for food into everything you do. And that sort of grew into me getting
Set the tone.
appreciation for cooking and then a career in restaurants.
So, and when you started out in restaurants, were you cooking?
I did a little bit of everything, but yeah, I started in the kitchen.
Okay, like cooking or in the kitchen doing pots, or like what do you
well,
start in
actually,
the kitchen?
I started.
You started
my,
his pizza shop.
My first job was in a restaurant washing dishes. And
That's
that was
usually the way you start,
That
right?
was how I started, and that was just close to home, so I could ride my bicycle there.
Nice.
And then I actually did work for him, and he had me doing just about everything. I spent a lot of time in the kitchen, learning that side of it. I spent a lot of time in the dining room, learning that side of it, and just fell in love with the whole business.
And here you are.
And here I am.
So let's make it. You're
Let's-
making the mess. I
so
gave you
let's
the
dig
jacket.
in.
There's no reason why you can't make a mess.
All right.
All right, let's get in there and get this thing rolling.
All right, here we go.
So we're mixing up.
We're gonna start with a nice base of chicken. You can use a little.
Did you
can
go over
use
the
a
whole
lot.
thing, or you only start at an end?
I only do a half, and then I roll.
Really?
Really.
I like to spread it out over
Just
the
like-
whole thing myself.
That's.
Probably
you can
wrong,
do it.
apparently.
No, there's no wrong when it comes to strombolis. No such thing. You write the rules as you go.
Excellent.
One of the few places in life you can't mess up, right?
I find that I have trouble messing up anything. I roll with everything.
All right, some onion.
Excellent. Who doesn't love some onion?
Depends, little or a lot, depending on the taste.
Whether you want to get kissed that night.
Exactly. I'm assuming I'm not going to get kissed today, so I used a lot.
I mean, you didn't ask, but you can probably assume that.
Family show. A little tomato.
My wife might be watching.
And a little celery. Nice.
So colorful.
Colorful. Color in food, you can't beat it, right?
Right.
And
And then the beautiful fresh
nice
mozzarella.
tomato.
Mozzarella.
I like to make sure I go right to the edge there so that the person getting the end doesn't get
Chipped.
cheated.
So that's what you do, is you go a lot into one spot as opposed
I go
to,
a lot into one spot. Yep.
I tend to spread it out and just hope that it rolls nicely.
Now keep in mind, some of this is adapted because when I cook it, I don't have all this fancy equipment. I'm cooking in a regular.
Well, so's everybody at home.
Right. So I use a
So we're cooking the same way they will.
a perforated pizza pan
Oh, you go fancy perforated pan.
and right into a nice hot oven. So there you go. I start with that. Kind
You
of.
start at the bottom.
What's that?
You start at the bottom.
Yeah,
You roll.
just like that, and then I roll that way, and then this way. It's
Ah,
coming forward.
so you do like a fold over.
Yes, nice. There you go. And then, if you can hold my paper down, I'm not used to working with
Here, you want
fancy
me to help you with that? I
paper.
gotta.
There we go.
I was gonna say you can just roll it with the.
And I get the thick part on the bottom, like
you-
that.
You're putting it on top. Oh no, you're doing that to roll it back over.
No, just like that.
It doesn't
fold
open. It
over.
doesn't fly open.
Never does. Nope.
All right then.
Kind of pat it all down, mush the edges. Now, again, when I do it on my little perforated pan at home, I got to make it circular, because otherwise it won't fit in my oven.
Yeah, it fits in our
Hence-
oven just
yeah,
fine.
so-
So we'll
so
just leave it. We'll just
Now,
leave it this
I would
way.
usually do 2 knife cuts across the top,
Why would you do that?
just to let it breathe and because it looks fancy. And
You didn't? Did you put any blue cheese dressing or anything in there?
The blue cheese dressing, I use, mix half blue cheese and half ranch. Mix those two together and use that for dipping sauce on the side.
Oh, okay.
So this is ready to go in the oven.
That's ready to go in the oven.
There you go.
So now, with pizza, this is one of the big differences between pizza and other bread products. You really want a high temperature. You had
Obviously,
just
yeah.
said that. How hot is that?
Well, my oven only goes up to 500.
You actually go all the way to 500.
I go 475, 500.
Right, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Go to 475, 500. Now, if you don't do that, what happens is that it tends to be raw. So the higher temperature, it forces it to cook quickly. That's why you always see pizza ovens are always
Yep.
super hot. So we carefully stick that in our oven.
Feel the heat.
And it's quick. It's like 10, 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes. Get all this stuff cleaned up while that bakes.
Right.
Get my dip ready. Get everything ready to go, and it's time for dinner.
How hot is this? Is this pretty hot for you? How are you with spicy food? You like spicy food?
Medium hot. I don't like it so hot that it burns.
No?
But a nice-
It's
you
not
want
like
a-
a game? Like
You-
you see if you
no,
get hot
no,
over the
no,
next
nothing
guy?
like. You want a nice bite to it, though. You want to know it's there.
You ever made your own hot sauce?
I never have. But
Me
now-
neither, actually. It's not,
now-
I want to, but I've never done that.
On the next episode of Baker Dave Presents,
I don't know about
I'm
the
going
next
to come
one.
back and we're going to make
We're
hot
gonna make.
sauce.
I don't even know how to make hot sauce, but
I just invited myself back.
okay. So we've got the blue cheese mixed
So
in
got the little blue cheese. I usually do equal parts blue cheese and ranch.
with ranch
To make a
Do little
nice-
stir.
A nice dip. You can use all blue cheese if you prefer. Blue cheese is a little strong for me, so I kind of thin it out with the ranch dressing to make a nice dip. You can put this on the inside of the stromboli before you bake it, or
Dip it to
you
cool
can
it
use
down
it as a
afterwards.
dip afterwards. Whatever makes you happy. Like I said, you can't mess up when it comes to a stromboli.
So let me ask you a question. The stromboli is almost ready.
Almost finished.
Where do you think, because you're a food guy, you've been a food guy your whole life, where do you think where food's going nowadays? Like, do you see the technology? Do you see...
There's
future of
lots
food.
of things changing, and food's always evolving and changing. And probably the biggest thing, the change that we're seeing is our customers are a lot more concerned about where their food comes from and
They're
how
more
it's
informed.
prepared. Transparent food, wanting to know where we have. A lot of people want to know when they're eating food, what farm did the celery come from? What farm did the onions come from? So those kinds of things, that transparency in food, they want less processed food and more real ingredients. So
That's a lot more work on us,
it's
right?
a lot more work on us. But so then the technology side comes forward, And with new cooking equipment, a lot of like what you have here, you can use those ingredients that couldn't be used before with kind of the traditional cooking methods.
Right.
Now you really can use what we consider these clean ingredients, basic, wholesome ingredients to put together a nice meal because you've got all the nice cooking.
Well, the other thing I've
that's really
noticed
where it's going.
with the technology is they'll actually like track from the moment fish is caught. They'll
Yes.
have like a chip or whatever with the tag, and it'll track that fish from start to finish. So you can find out information now that 10 years ago you couldn't find out.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of times you see on restaurant menus when you go out, you'll see, this from this farm or from this fishery. So, yeah, it's all very important to people today, and rightfully so. You're eating, you want to know where it
I mean it too. I want to know where it came from.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, I'm going to pull this
All right.
stromboli out of the oven.
Very excited.
Me too. I'm a huge fan of buffalo chicken stromboli, so we'll see if yours lives up to it.
All right.
It looks nice, right?
Looks nice.
It's got some little cuts there.
There you
Did
go.
You can do the honors.
No, after you.
I like the bias cut.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's fancier.
Mm-hmm.
So we've let this rest a few minutes too, so it's not so hot. So it's something we can actually eat.
Couple of plates here.
Awesome.
There you go. Nice.
Does it look like what you expected it to
looks
look like?
It looks fantastic. Yes. I wish we had some of that wine from the wine tasting.
Not the ones that you gave to me.
No, the real wine.
Because that wine wasn't that great. I don't. I don't know. I didn't taste it. Maybe it was Maybe it was the perfect mix of grapes. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So let's see. It's hard to pick up.
I'm gonna rip off a little piece.
Yeah, so am I.
No double dipping.
I've never double dipped.
All right.
Cheers.
Mmm. Delicious. Very good.
Perfect. Exactly what I expect to have when I have a buffalo chicken stromboli.
Yeah.
Well, before I mess up your hands too much. Thanks again for coming and sharing your recipes.
I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
Me too. This has been a great time.
An honor to work in Baker Dave's kitchen.
And Baker Rush.
Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us here at Baker Dave Presents. And a special thanks to Russ Sherman for bringing his fantastic buffalo chicken stromboli recipe. Join us again next time on Baker Dave Presents. And remember, every recipe has a story.